Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tic Tac Taiko. Listen, this week's drill some of you are not going to like. Some of you are going to like it, but you're not going to do it. Some of you will want to do it, but think it's too silly. And some of you are actually going to do it. Which one are you? Let's find out. In my karate practice, we talk about tension a lot. Let's say somebody's holding a stance. We'll point out where you should feel tension, maybe on the inside of this thigh and the outside of this leg. If somebody is holding a pose or position and we find tension in the wrong spot, we'll point out which muscle to squeeze to move the tension from where it's unwanted to where it is wanted. And this also applies when we're doing movement, transitioning from one position to another. Tension is something that gets brought up a lot. With Taiko, I feel that tension is only talked about at a rudimentary level. We tend to identify it, not want it, and then are told or try to work out how to breathe it out or drop your weight, and then we move on to something else. And I'm starting to feel like mastering tension, both the wanted and the unwanted kind, is the key to being a really, really good Taiko player, probably up in the top 3 skills. San Jose Taiko has an infamous drill called the Roy drill, named after one of the founders, Roy Hirabayashi. On paper, the drill is really simple. You get one person in the middle on shime, everybody else around facing the center, usually on naname. The center person is going to pick a G, starting from slow to fast to slow to faster, and then on to the next G, and the next G, and so on and so on. This goes on for about 20 to 45 minutes, sometimes even longer. The goal of everybody on the outside is to follow along with the center person and not stop playing, no matter what. Even if your hands can't hang with the tempo, even if you're really tired and you're shifting around and your form is crap, don't stop playing. That's the main goal. When I was new to San Jose Taiko and new to Roy drills, no surprise, my hands couldn't keep up with the fastest tempos and my form was just not there because I was tired, my body ached. I was not used to playing this type of Taiko. Years later, I would start on the left side, my weaker hand on the downbeat, just like a few other people. I wasn't the only one. This was done as a way to challenge oneself. But again, no surprise, after a while, my hands couldn't keep up and I would shift back to my right side. It still hurt, but at least I was more comfortable with the drill. Several years later, I would start on my weaker side and I was able to stay there. My hands could keep up with the fastest G and my body was comfortable enough and I stayed relaxed enough to play on my left side throughout the entirety, no matter how long it was. And one of the main reasons I was able to do that is the exercise I'm about to show you. For the 3 of you that are still watching, thank you. Let me explain what you just saw. Time and time again, both from a player's perspective and an instructor's perspective, what I find is when you feel or identify tension in someone, let's say the shoulders are really tight, you can tell them to relax. You can tell them to take a deep breath and relax. But in about 30 seconds, the tension comes back. Or let's say someone is hunched over and they're playing, you tell them, okay, drop your weight, straighten your back. That's fine until about 30 seconds later, they're hunched over again. We as human beings like to revert to what is familiar, even when it's not comfortable. And the exercise you just watched forces you to play on an extreme level of looseness. And even if you revert to form a little bit, you have to revert to form a lot more to get back to what is familiar. And that's the point of the drill. The scale of 1 to 10 is very subjective. 10 is sort of the limit of how loose you can play before your technique completely falls apart. Around 7 and 8 and 9, your technique will be affected, and over time you develop sort of mechanisms for keeping it together, but 10 is your limit. My 10 is different from your 10, and my 10 now is different from my 10 in the past. As I practice this exercise, as I get better overall, my 10 gets higher and higher, further and further away from 1. And it will with you as well. You might be thinking, that's a lot of extra or excess motion. I'm going to get more tired, or I'm going to be as tired as I would if I was holding tension. So let me give you this exercise. Pick either of your 2 hands, and for a minute, just move one of your hands. Keep it loose. Open and close, turn, twist, wiggle, waggle, wave, whatever. Just constantly moving. It doesn't have to be fast for a whole minute. Once it's over, notice how it feels. It's probably a little tired, a little warm, but I bet you it feels loose, yeah? Now with the other hand, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to clench a fist tight, like you're trying to squeeze juice out of something in the center. And you're going to squeeze it tight for a whole minute. Don't let up. Don't ease up. Don't wiggle or move it. At the end of the minute, notice how it feels. I guarantee you that you'll wish you had been able to move it. You're probably going to shake it out because it hurts. So both ways are going to spend energy, but one way is way less comfortable than the other. You're not meant to perform at a 10. That's all practice exercise. But you can use it to inform how you stay at the drum. There's 2 approaches to what you want to look like and how you want to feel when it comes to performing. One is the tight mindset, characterized by the fist that we did earlier, and one is the loose mindset, characterized by whatever this thing was. I think for most Taiko players, the tight mindset is the default. We're getting to the drum, especially in naname, which is this very visual position, and we want to have a very nice picture, a nice presence. Unwanted tension is going to happen regardless of your mindset, regardless of what kind of taiko you play. It just does. The tight mindset tries to alleviate tension with as little disruption as possible. So if I'm playing something and my shoulder is tense, that's about it. My neck is tense, maybe that. My hips are tense, maybe a slight shift. But it's these small little snaps trying to alleviate tension, and tension is just going to keep grabbing and biting and pulling you down. It's a losing battle. On the outside, the tight mindset might look composed, but on the inside, it's a battle of trying to get rid of that tension as you find it, which is happening more and more as you play. The loose mindset acknowledges that you can't perform at a 10. If I performed on stage like this, I would get kicked off the stage. So I start at a 10, and then I dial it back, and I dial it back, and I dial it back. Okay, this is presentable, sure. And to the audience, to the outside eye, it looks almost exactly the same as the tight mindset. But inside, mentally and sort of internally, I feel like I'm at a 10. And I'm always trying to get closer to 10, even though I have to pull it back and pull it back. Both mindsets will lead you to the same position, the same place. If that's the case, then which one would you rather have? Now, if you're not yet sold, I understand. But remember, I credit this exercise, this mindset, with giving me the ability to play at almost any tempo with my left side that I could on my right, and giving me the ability to stay loose enough to play for up to an hour and make it through relatively well. If you are convinced, great. It will take about 1 or 2 tries for you to get over the fact that it feels kind of silly and looks kind of silly. That's part of it, that's fine. You'll also feel like the 10 and the 1 aren't that far apart at first. After a few practices, you'll realize the 10 is getting further and further away from the 1, and you're able to play more and more relaxed, more loose, with less and less affecting of your technique. Again, this is something that not everyone's going to want to do, but I can't speak highly enough of it. I will continue to do it. I will continue to get funny looks, but I will also continue to play even better and better because of exercises like this. Let me know what you think, especially if you try it. And give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, keep on practicing and be well.